Hello and welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. The Minister of Labor addresses the workers of the nation on the Labor Day on May 1 tomorrow. The National Federation of Kung Fu Wushu closes its Ramadan tournament in style. And on the international scene, the oil platform made in Angola soon available. Those were our top major highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our blood viewers. Following the example of the international community, the Republic of Djibouti will commemorate the Labor Day this May 1, 2022, tomorrow. This commemoration, which is the expression of gratitude of the world of work to pioneers who, after great struggles, have marked the 1st of May with their seal and have made this day an unforgettable day. A universal day is now unanimous among workers and employers. Indeed, this day tomorrow is also the inauguration of the place of workers in the construction of a fairer and more equitable world, an opportunity to conduct the necessary reflections to strengthen the promotion of well-being at work. It is on this occasion that the Minister of Labor in charge of training and social protection, Mr. Omar Abdi Said, addressed a message to the nation. Elsewhere, the commemoration of Labor Day was also coincided with Eid al-Fitr. The minister delivered a message to the workers of the nation. In his speech, the Minister of Labor first wished a good Labor Day. To the General Secretaries of Worker Unions, the minister expressed the gratitude of the government for their commitment in defending the rights and interests of workers. He emphasized the action of the Ministry of Labor to build a flourishing society in order to continue the individual and collective efforts for the construction of a prosperous national economy. More details with the minister.
Mesdames les travailleuses, Messieurs les travailleurs,
Ladies and gentlemen of the workforce, it is an honor for me to take the floor on the occasion of the traditional May Day greetings to wish you all a happy Labor Day. This year, your holiday coincides with the end of the blessed month of Ramadan and the Eid al-Fitr festivities. I take this opportunity to wish all our citizens peace, happiness, and prosperity. The department's work is in line with the policies and reforms launched in recent years by the President himself, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, including the modernization of the legal and institutional framework. These reforms have enabled us to adapt the labor market to contemporary circumstances and to provide our economy with a calm social climate and a permanent dialogue. The preservation of social achievements and the strengthening of the protection of workers' rights have been a strong marker of the government's action. I want to reassure union representatives and employers that I will always be listening to them. I will pay close attention to the promotion and consolidation of the social dialogue, a factor of social peace, national cohesion, and the sustainability of the gain made. The social partners will play an active role in the implementation of the priorities of the Ministry's work program. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic has spared no effort to limit the impact of exogenous shocks on our economy in a world of multiple tensions and a succession of crises. Labor relations are not immune to the change brought about by the digital revolution. The emergence of a new economic model makes it essential to adapt the legal arsenal of the labor market. In terms of employment, we need to prepare the transition of professions to better equip the national workforce for the skill requirements of the digital economy, but also to better support them in their professional development. In a world that is struggling to recover from the difficulties that have plunged it into the worst health crisis known to mankind, we must each be attentive to the other. I would like to strongly emphasize my commitment with your participation to address the major issues that underpin the missions of my department and to further promote the culture of constitution and public-private partnership. Still in this momentum, the Ministry of Labor detailed the priority actions that his ministerial department will put forward. That is to say, the ways and means to promote social dialogue and interpretism, social justice, strengthening and extend social protection, promote decent work. Further details from the Ministry of Labor.
travailleuses, travailleurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, all the questions having to do with the condition of the workers will be submitted to the National Council of the Work, the Employment and Social Security. A permanent place, which is of exchange of dialogue and reflection between the social partners. The themes that will be discussed with you concern the promotion of decent work, social protection, employment, professional integration, health and safety at work, formalization and integration of the informal sector. All these actions are defined in the roadmap of the President of the Republic and involve the social partners and give a wide scope for action to strengthen interpretism. We must work together to fight against all forms of precariousness of workers and for the emergence of a society in solidarity with the most disadvantaged. To all these issues, I will pay the necessary attention. The Ministry will be on the front line to fight against child labor and clandestine work. I will see to a better management of the requirement of foreign labor. Through an increased control of the labor market, May 1 is also the right time to give you an overview of the actions I intend to undertake in the coming months. In terms of employment, the extent of unemployment, especially among young people, makes it urgent to implement programs to improve the employability of young people and their access to employment. To this end, the Ministry have developed a new operational action plan for the period of 2021 to 2024. Sustained attention will be devoted to the development of skills and the enhancement of human capital. Ladies and gentlemen, and if people continue its policy of promoting integrational tools, devices aimed at helping young graduates to enter the labor market through the internship of intentions to professional life. Other professional adaptations programs for school dropouts are available and will be tested in the regions. One of the main advances recorded in the contractual coverage is the adoption of the Cuban core of the interprofessional agreement. It should move to the next stage and accelerate the harmonization of salary grids. The success's collective bargaining demonstrates the quality of the social dialogue that prevails between the social partners. Reforms have been carried out and others are underway, always with the constant concern of ensuring better protection for workers and the prevention of social imbalances. Dear workers, I wish you a good and happy Labor Day in Eid al-Fitr. I thank you for your dear attention. In the afternoon of yesterday, the elementary school of Humbuli 1 hosted a ceremony to give new clothes to some 200 students from poor parents. This ceremony, organized by the PTA, was sponsored by the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, who was accompanied by the host official from various backgrounds. The ceremony is part of the first phase of the project entitled Dressing an Orphan of the PTA, which is in its 7th year. Remember that when it comes to giving a smile to children, the association is a pioneer in this field in Djibouti. Thus, at the school of Humbuli, we could see the joy and the good atmosphere that reigned with the school. After launching the traditional ceremony of distribution of new clothes to the poor children, the minister and his delegation went to visit the cooking point of the project called Jebel Hope. This innovation, a large-scale project, is the first of its kind in Djibouti, was started by the PTA, which installed 3 cooking sites that provided 3 hot meals to some 190 poor and needy people throughout the month of Ramadan. The minister and the officials who accompanied him did not fail to congratulate the members of the PTA for putting such a large-scale project on track. At the end of the visit, the members of the association warmly thanked the Minister of Education and the various donors who have spared no efforts for the success of the above-mentioned projects. In the same context, the Association Future for Hope of the Jebel District, which includes members of the diaspora and senior officials native to this area, gathered Thursday afternoon in the school of Humbuli 1, 200 students from poor parents of this area to distribute new clothes. This act of generosity coincidence with the end of the blessed month of Ramadan. This ceremony, organized by the PTI, was sponsored by the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, who was accompanied by a host of officials from various backgrounds. The ceremony is part of the first phase of project entitled Dressing an Orphan of the EPA, which is in its 7th year. Remember that when it comes to giving a smile to children, the association is a pioneer in this field in Djibouti. Thus, at the school of Humbuli, we could see the joy of the good atmosphere that reigned within the school. The ceremony ended with a family photo. The Secretary of State in charge of sports organized last night a collective iftar at the Sheraton Hotel. This collective iftar was placed under the sign of forgiveness, reconciliation, and sharing. The event was attended by the Secretary of State in charge of sports, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Kamil, the Secretary General, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim, the entire staff of the Secretary of State in charge of sport, advisors, directors, executives, and superintendents, the presidents of the various national federations, as well as several other guests. After the iftar, the prayer, placed to a hearty dinner that salivated the guests on the spot, all punctuated by religious preaching of Sheikh Hussein on the importance and the particularity of this blessed month of Ramadan. In a brief speech, the Director of Sports thanked all those who responded to this iftar, organized by the Secretary of State for Sports, which wanted through this gesture to promote an impulse of forgiveness, reconciliation, and moments of sharing among staff. The Djiboutian Federation of Kung Fu Wushu organized last night at the multipurpose hall of Goulet Stadium the closing of the Ramadan tournament. About 50 athletes, young and old from different categories of Chinese martial arts, have been made beautiful demonstrations in front of a warm audience. They competed with talents in endurance in demonstration and fights. In addition to the Secretary General of the SES, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, the ceremony was attended by the Deputy Director of the Goulet Stadium, Mr. Abdul Qadir Humad, the Head of the Department of Regions, Mr. Hassan Kako, and several other officials and members of the SES and the Federation. The winners received trophies and medals as well as certificates from the officials, the President of the Federation, and the parents of the young participants. From the President of the Djibouti Kung Fu Wushu Federation, Muhammad Ali, it is a satisfaction to have been able to organize the tournament. The organization of the tournament is a challenge that we were able to meet. The competitions were of a very good level. This makes me say that if we have the opportunity to participate in international competitions, we have nothing to fear, he concluded. Originally from the People's Republic of China, Kung Fu is increasingly perpetuated in Djibouti thanks to the commitment and determination of Djiboutians working for years in the practice of this sport, and especially to the policy of the Secretary of State for Sports focused on popularization and promotion of martial arts. The new ferry boat named Muhammad Ali Gadali was launched yesterday afternoon after being transported on board from the BBC chartering ship. Released from the Japanese shipyard several months ago, the ferry boat Muhammad Ali Gadali, named after a former parliamentarian and former great figure of the customary of the North, has just been floated in the port of Djibouti. After being launched, the new ferry was welcomed by two tailors from the Djibouti Port Authority with great pomp and circumstances and anchored on Quay 1 of the port of Djibouti. This launching ceremony of this new ferry named Muhammad Ali Gadali has seen the participation of the Director of Maritime Affairs, Mr. Ali Mirah Shehim Dawood, as well as the official of the shipping companies. The new ferry will strengthen the maritime link between Djibouti and the northern cities of the country by increasing the frequency services. The new ferry has a length of 49.95 meters, a width of 11 meters, and can reach a maximum speed of 12 knots. The grounding of the second ferry is a strong symbol of the strengthening of cooperation between Djibouti and Japan, which is palpable in the many fields of cooperation between the two countries. The Director of Maritime Affairs, Mr. Ali Mirah Shehim Dawood, in his speech, welcomed the cooperation Djibouti, thanks to which for several years to the national shipping on the wave of success. In the framework of strengthening the competence of health personnel and in particular the organization of continuous training, Dar al-Hanan Hospital, in collaboration with the Director of Mother and Child, organized training on material nutrition and hygiene. The training, which took place in the training room of the Ministry of Health, was chaired by Mrs. Hawa Hassan Gessoud and Mrs. Fatuma Ali, respectively directors of Dar al-Hanan Hospital and the Director of Mother and Child. The ordinations and actions of continuous training are a fundamental element of the human resources policy of hospitals. They are closely linked to the hospital missions, care, teaching, prevention, research, and to their modernity. They are also a permanent obligation and concern for the agents throughout their career. About 100 multidisciplinary paramedical staff, midwife, anesthetists, nurses, and nurses' aides from the reference hospital for mothers and children Dar al-Hanan benefited from this training. As usual, the company Owl Group continues its efforts to join the joy of Djibouti children by offering them beautiful clothes to celebrate Eid. The Association of Young Academics, in collaboration with the company Owl Group, has proceeded with the distribution of clothes for Eid. Yesterday evening, a ceremony of delivery and distribution of Eid clothes took place at the fishing port, and it is in the presence of some 500 children selected in the various districts of the city of Djibouti. The beneficiary families welcome the CEO of Owl Group, Mr. Yasin Awlad Farah, for his humanitarian actions of social assistance to vulnerable families. No doubt this gesture of solidarity in the run-up of Eid has put a smile on the face of almost 500 children from the poorest families in the town of Djibouti. The president of the commune of Balbala and the president of the commune of Bil'Aus took part in this ceremony. The young academics took turns at the microphone to salute the generosity of PDG of the OWL group, which spares no effort to contribute more to the activities of the associative movement, especially the youth. The Subdirectorate of the Ministry of Youth and Culture of the region of Tajurra organized a collective iftar for young people from different districts. The prefect of the region, Mr. Hassan Dabali, and president annex of the RPP, Mr. Ali Muhammad Gadili, as well as several personalities of the region, took part in this event, which marked at the end the soccer tournament organized as part of the activities of the blessed month of Ramadan. Indeed, in the afternoon, the deputy director and the president of the Soccer League of Tajurra launched the kickoff of the final of the soccer tournament for the two finalist club. Note also that the CDC of Tajurra has organized a contest of 99 names of Allah as well as the questions and answers on Islam. However, after the iftar, the subdirectorate proceeded to award for the winners. In addition, this tournament was an opportunity for young people to speed convivial moments where everyone shared their experience during this blessed month of Ramadan. The young people showed their ability to get along while leaving aside the agitation due to the sports events. Good behavior and discipline were the main line of this month-long event. Like other CDCs in the capital, the subdirector of the MJC in Obokh organized a collective iftar. This Friday at the CDC of Obokh, through this iftar, the subdirection tends to celebrate solidarity, sharing, and social cohesion. Took to the breaking of the fast, the interim prefect Mr. Muhammad Awad Muhammad, the local elected officials, representatives of civil and military authorities, the colonel of the police of Obokh Mr. Kamil Ali, the chief of brigade of the region, the director of the complex Al-Rahma, as well as the various officials of deconcentrated services and representatives of the customary authority. In addition to that, this iftar has seen a strong mobilization of youth and leaders of civil society organizations who came to share this moment of dua and celebration. It was an opportunity for the subdirection of the MJC to address the community of Obokh, especially to the youth, to continue in solidarity and brotherhood. After the prayer of Maghrib, the subdirector proceeded to handing over the trophy to the winner of the tournament of the blessed month of Ramadan, organized at the initiative of the MJC by the management of the CDC of Obokh. The participants did thank the Department of Youth and Culture for its commitment to development of youth and social cohesion in Obokh. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, our beloved viewers, Angola is preparing to launch its first oil platform. The infrastructure called UFA is being built in the camp of Molango in the province of Cabinda at the cost of $60 million. This made an Angola platform should be launched in June, while its entry into production is announced for the end of 2023. The project is carried out by the Angolan subsidiary of the oil company Chevron. UFA will be used for the exploitation of the Takula oil and gas field, could help create 300 direct jobs. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you once again for joining. Please make sure to take care. Thank you.